Hello and welcome to Critical Questions, the antidote to lockdown boredom. I've trawled the internet for the best, worst, most interesting and ridiculous dumb questions I can find. And with any luck, my guests will be able to answer all of them. Today we've got with us the ever dapper Badger.
Hello.
We've got Bill.
Hello.
We've got Jen. And we've got Purple Rhymes with Orange.
More or less. I don't know why I'm awake at this hour, so.
Sammy, no you haven't. And you really don't want to know where that conversation ended up yesterday.
You could always hop in, Sammy. And hi, Chris.
Do you want to say hello to everyone since I don't?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I can do that. Hi, Chris. Hi, Robert X. Hi, Nerdy. Who else is there? Sammy. Morton. I'm not saying hi to anyone who's in here with us.
Hey.
I already said hi to you lot. Hi, Sandy. And I think that's it for who are actually chatting. And anyone else who's out there, hi.
Well, according to YouTube, we've got a total of 12. I don't know
Yeah,
how
but
many
they're
of
not all
that.
chatting,
How
so I
many
don't
of
know
us
who
did
they
we
are.
counting? Yeah.
Nerdy says critical fry. Yeah, I'm fairly certain, to be honest, that 6 of those are me.
6.
I'm trying to track different things.
Oh, Linda and Morton.
Oh, don't miss them.
I think they just came in.
No, I said hi to Morton.
Oh.
Right. Question 257. What's invisible, but you wish people could see?
What, hang on, what is what?
Invisible.
Bigfoot.
He doesn't exist. That doesn't count.
Something invisible that
well,
you wish
I've
people
been
could see.
I've been watching this YouTube channel called by a chap called Bob Gimlin, and he reckons they do exist.
Well, I mean, if farts were visible, we'd be able to know exactly who dropped one.
I'll tell you.
Not usually. You'll tell you.
You can tell if it was me.
Well, that also means that anyone else would know if you did it.
You can tell
Well,
if
that's
it was
true,
me.
but-
And people go, who the fuck was that? They'll look around and they'll just see me sitting there like,
Blow your own trumpet.
I think honesty. Or lies.
Ooh.
I wish lies were visible. That would probably work better.
No.
Oh, yeah. So somebody lies and a big question mark appears above their head.
You know how fucked our society would be if people didn't lie to each other on a daily basis.
I think that society would adjust. I think you're right. I think if you threw our society into that situation now, I think it would go horrifically badly. But I think if it was something that
Yeah.
always existed, I think it would work fine.
Having said that, there are times when... Yeah.
I think it
Sorry,
would
Eric.
because
Sorry, Purple.
for me, it would make things go absolutely terribly because I do a lot of role play, which is entirely consistent on me saying things that are technically untrue.
No, you're not, though, because within the context, you're definitely not lying. That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about the classic relationship things of, your girlfriend asking, does this make me look fat?
Yes, it does.
Yes, but the point is that you would have an honest answer that you could trust.
Yeah. And also they would understand, even though they would see that it was a lie, they would understand that it was an Aristotelian mean lie rather than an actual lie.
I know what you're saying, Purple.
Hey,
I'm going to
hey,
agree.
Randy.
I'm going to agree with Dave Lister on the topic of lying and just say that lying is an important part of your psychological defense system.
Only in the
I
society
agree.
we've built up. I'm not convinced it is a required part of the human species. I do agree that everyone that has grown up in the society we have lived in, it is 100% essential.
But see, it wouldn't have evolved that way
Yeah,
if
but
it didn't help our society in the first place.
Yeah, no, that's not necessarily true. Help our society, no. Help individuals potentially within our society, yes. This balance between whether or not you can get resources from people by lying to them rather than telling the truth is this payoff. And society can only support so many people that will obtain resources by deception.
And there are also things that have evolved that aren't entirely helpful.
Oh, lots of things.
Yeah, look at me.
This is why we're trying to kill you all.
Like vestigial organs aren't entirely helpful.
They tend to become things.
Parasitic wasps.
Here's a question for you. Do you think there is such a thing as vestigial people?
Probably.
Trump?
Well, there are certainly people in society who serve no useful function.
Yeah, again, look at me.
Again, the problem you've got with that is serve no useful function is very hard to judge. Because you have to judge it against a standard, and no real standard we have, no standard we have, I would say, encapsulates any real meaning for existence.
How do you define what is useful and what is not?
Well, this is my point, in a much more long-winded way.
Does it make my life easier?
Yeah, the question, no, usefulness is a concept when we are applying it to society, and that is my point. You are useful to you.
I never claimed the criteria wasn't subjective.
I don't make anyone's life easier.
No, but you do make it more entertaining.
Yes. Watch this.
Tell that massive joke.
Watch this wonderful video by Alucard yesterday. You were featured prominently.
I was? Oh, yeah, I was.
Yes, you.
Because I made the thing.
Prominently as what?
He did the artwork for Alucard.
Oh. That's kind of cool.
Hey, Joan! I am loving your responses.
Well, the one advantage if lying were that obvious we would finally be able to tell which politicians were actually being deceitful and which ones were simply clueless.
Mm. And the point is, I think you would earn. Don't forget, an inability to lie does not mean you have to answer every question, or does not mean you have to necessarily be honest. And that sounds a bit odd.
I read a book with that premise.
Say again? You read a book with that premise?
I read a book with that premise where everybody was constantly broadcasting everything going on in their brain.
Yeah, that's horrific.
To everyone around them.
That's horrific because you've got no control over your thoughts.
Also, I think so. If like the way I'm thinking of this is it being represented by a color, and there being like a spectrum of color. So like things that are like blatant, out and out lies with no positive whatsoever would be seen in one particular color, and then it would be a spectrum going back up to the complete truth.
Mm.
So you could actually see where it's at.
Do you know what's really funny? Do you know what's really funny? With the
ZX spectrum?
With the advent of realistic AR, we are not that far away from having probability of truth assigned to what people say.
No, definitely.
Okay, well, about 30-some years ago, when I was going to the Technical Institute, I decided to do a social experiment. And I decided I was going to give everyone an accurate and honest question to anything they asked me. The result was that within a month, no one would talk to me at all.
No. People don't want honest answers. I spend my entire life not giving people honest answers. Mostly because they keep asking how I am. And if I give them an honest answer, they don't want to know.
Yep.
The problem is they can't do anything. No one wants to know.
So...
You're in absolute abject hell. No one wants to know that. They want to know you're okay, so they can live their lives.
There's a few people who I give honest answers to about how I am. And it's interesting because I do a lot of online roleplay. So different characters that I play respond to the question "How are you?" in very different ways. Like one character just says "alive." Another character said something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm quite well, thank you. How are you?" It very much varies depending on the mood and temperament of that character. I like the one that says "alive."
Yes,
it's the most honest answer.
Says you're alive?
Right. Oh, wait. I've sidetracked us. Okay, because that was my answer.
Hi, Notcha.
Right.
Hey, Notcha.
Yes.
If
So
you're
we
up
all
for
still
it, you
got
want a
this.
question?
Notcha, get in here.
Don't tell him what to do.
Notcha, I cordially request that you join us.
Right. What is invisible but you wish other people could see? Avoiding my answer.
Is that what the question was?
Yes. We went down a very strong line with it.
We moved on from that one.
I may have to have a larger question about lies.
Terry Davis is in the chat.
Yes.
Hey, Terry. If you're there.
How about ghosts? Then if we don't see them, we know they never existed.
The problem you've got is they... See, this is where... right, I am-denied about whether or not I could answer the question with God.
Come on.
If there are ghosts, that's going to make my masturbation sessions very awkward.
Why? You pretended like they were there in the past.
I'm not going to stop. I'm just saying it's going to be awkward.
For you're the ghost.
Probably the ghost. Me as well, but I don't like having people near me just in general.
And there's all the pseudoscience stuff. All the pseudoscience stuff you could wish it's invisible. But I think the question is specifically aimed at things that we know exist.
How about dark matter?
That is a very good answer. However, it couldn't be called dark matter
Would you be able
anymore.
to see anything in the universe if dark matter was visible?
Maybe not.
Oh, I'm
I mean, yeah, we definitely know where it all was, but yeah, you might be able to. We might suddenly be just this one galaxy surrounded by black.
Yes.
Stress.
Stress. That's a good one.
Emotional stress.
Do you know what? It's one of those things. You know what things that really annoys me when I was younger? Less so now. Okay, I never looked ill. When I got sick, I never looked it. So I could get really bad flu or something like that, and I would look completely well. So people would assume I was faking it, or they would assume I wasn't that ill, or they would assume. And so at that point where everything is so much harder because you've got that. If they recognise, if you watch someone that's got flu and looks like they've got flu and looks like they're sick, you're so much more sympathetic around them. You're so much, and I think the same would apply to stress. And there are some people that do. There's some people that the stress is really visible on them.
I had to consciously look stressed when I was unhappy in previous times in my life, because otherwise people.
Look, you didn't say previous lives.
Yeah. In previous times in my life, I had to consciously develop a way to look unhappy, because naturally I just look blank, and I look blank whether I'm happy or not.
Yeah, same here.
So I had to develop like an unhappy face that I would consciously have on, so that people would leave me alone when I didn't want to talk to them.
Although what Dave was saying about not looking sick reminded me of an incident when I was in about 5th grade. That in gym class I was telling the teacher I was feeling sick, and he didn't believe me, so I threw up on him.
Oh,
Right. Gary says higher frequencies of light. I did wonder if we could see the entire electromagnetic spectrum to some degree. Would be quite cool.
I have literally
have
been
actually
stuck with the same
some
thing
degree, not all of it.
No.
from the teacher.
Say again, Bill?
I was going to say my answer would be similar to that, but I'll go over it in a minute or whatever.
Go on.
No, so sound, right? I know you can see sound under certain specific circumstances,
Yeah.
like if you project sound over a liquid or whatever.
Mm.
But I quite like the idea of at some point in the future being able to sort of cross over the frequencies of sound and light.
Mm.
So like when you go to a gig or you go to a nightclub, as well as the sound coming out of the sound system, it comes out as a form of light as well. So
I can see what you're imagining, the various animations we've got where the speaker is giving off these the light with the
yeah.
Yes.
So as well as being bathed in sound, I mean, a lot like modern sound systems, they're getting into quadraphonic, where the sound is three-dimensional, right? You can actually move sounds about the room and stuff. So I'm thinking of another level of that being that you're literally just sort of bathed in sound and light, and it being like all around you. I just think that'd be really cool.
So that you mean when I go to a concert, instead of just going deaf, I'll be blinded as well?
Yes, that's the plan.
Have you ever been in a sensory room?
Yes,
Bill?
absolutely love them.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Because I used to volunteer at a place that did music workshops for, well, lots of people, but one of the groups that it was aimed at was people with learning difficulties.
Night, Notcha.
And there was a sensory room in there. And it was awesome. I could have just sat in there all day.
I did. I used to sneak off and sleep in one.
I liked both, to be honest. I sometimes I like to have the sort of sensory, complete no sensory input and silence. You know, other times I like loads of sensory input. You know what I mean? It's depending on my mood, I suppose.
I've been curious about trying a sensory deprivation tank, but I've got a feeling I would be likely to hallucinate in a rather short period of time if there was no other inputs.
I think that's the point, isn't it?
I would like
kind
to
of.
try it, but it makes clear that there is a very slight hissing in my ears constantly that really pisses me off if there's absolutely no background noise.
Have any of you guys heard about? I mean, was it Aldous Huxley or somebody like that about their early experiments with sensory deprivation tanks and ketamine?
I don't know.
I'm
Well, that's a
guessing
great
not.
combination.
Very strange, like very strange reading. Very strange. Like, I can't imagine what it would have been like to actually have those experiences, but reading about it is interesting enough.
Sammy's bringing it back to farts. With there are some smells he swore he could see.
Yeah.
Right. I quite like the idea of sound to some degree, which would be pressure. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Alv. You're just in time to answer the first question because we've taken
Answer it.
Okay.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the first question?
What's invisible but you wish people could see?
Well, evidently you guys thought it was me, because you wanted me to see me on here so badly. But apparently it is me because I'm not on screen yet.
Oh shit! I don't know what you're talking about. We can see you, just they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might not want to if you put me on screen, sis.
They can hear you, so
Yeah. That's all you need.
no one will be able to guess it's you.
To see you backstage is bad enough.
Yeah, there you go. See.
So what do you think wish people could see? Got to exist.
Certain illnesses, I guess.
Oh, being able to see if someone. Oh, do you know what? I hadn't thought about it the other way. Being able to see if someone's sick.
Yeah.
If we knew that they had, you know,
That would be a handy skill, as long as you could turn the fucker off.
Well, see, that's kind of the question with all of these: is you want to see them with other people, but you don't want other people to see them with you.
That's how they, that's how you can lie. You want to be able to see when everyone else is lying, but you can lie.
That'd be a really.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to see when everyone else is lying. That would.
It'd be a really shitty.
Yeah, I think that would be bad.
No, I'd like it.
That might drive you insane, actually.
Does anyone know where I put my fabric glue?
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
In the
don't.
burrow.
Is that
It's
a
in the
yes?
second drawer in the white chest.
Is that a yes as long as you have no follow-up questions?
Yeah.
I told you it's in the second drawer of the white chest.
Fucking own a white chest.
You do, you just don't know where it is.
You owned one. I just said that's where it is. You've got to figure out which house it's in now.
Or do I own a white chest?
Right, Joan, I said at the start we couldn't have things that don't exist. So we can't have gods or ghosts. What else did I say we couldn't have?
I still think that Bigfoot applies because that YouTube channel says it does exist.
Yeah.
There are people that think 5G distributes viruses. I think anything, virtually anything microscopic would be interesting to see, although it would be terrifying.
Hmm.
I mean, everything about us. I like the description of humanity in the Matrix.
I was going to say possible answers to this question would be Australia as well, but then I'm not actually sure that exists. So.
Well, Notch's in the chat. I think he can confirm that it doesn't.
Notch, we need Notcher, yes. Hi, Jen.
Fuck it. Badger counts me as English, so that's the problem.
Trump's tax return. We have a winner.
One of those criminals that we shipped off to non-existent.
Oh, Morton says it has to exist.
Right. Where's my...
Oh, those are some good answers, weren't there? Sammy, your tobacco is with Badger's glue.
Okay, I'm just going to say my fabric glue as the answer to this question because I can't find it.
Let's go with right. Next question, I think. Question 258. Do you believe plagiarism is getting worse in education/academia?
What's that?
Do you ever listen?
Well, funny enough, I'm doing
It cut off the middle of the operative word.
Fair enough.
Funnily enough, I've got a video coming out later today. It's called "Do You Believe Plagiarism Is Getting Bad in Academia?" Just saying.
Strangely enough, I've got a video like that planned as well.
Yeah.
So, do you know what the question is, Badger? From context.
Yeah.
Yes? No?
Are you still waiting for me?
Yes?
Oh, I said yes.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I thought plagiarism in academia had largely subsided after I got out of school.
Are you saying the two are related?
Causation does not.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's got worse. There's just more students now, and it's easier to get hold of information.
Well, this is the point. It's availability. It's availability of other people's work, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing, that the internet has just made it so much easier for people to find papers that they assume whoever's grading them won't have read.
There's entire systems now that are meant to be set up to detect plagiarism. And the worst thing is that, especially in specialist fields, they're failing in the opposite way. They are detecting plagiarism when it doesn't exist. Because when you're talking about very narrow fields, it's very hard to talk about it without using the same language, without repeating the same things.
Yeah. And in academia, well, it's not plagiarism, but you quote other people all the time. You use other reference materials, so...
Well, you know the old saying, you steal from one person, it's plagiarism, and you steal from many people, it's research.
Yep.
See, I was nearly done for plagiarism in college.
Were you?
Yeah. See, what I did was, because I'm like fucking dyslexic and my short-term memory is terrible, rather than trying to flip between a page I was doing research on and the thing I was trying to write, I would just copy and paste that page into my document, so that I wouldn't have to keep flipping between, because I'd forget what I'd read as in the process of flipping between the windows. You see, what I then did was I forgot to delete the bit I'd copied and pasted in.
Intentionally? Forgot.
I handed in the assignment with like half a Wikipedia page with hyperlinks and all.
That's clever.
Well done, Badger. We're proud of you for that one.
I almost got done for plagiarising my own work.
Is that actually possible?
Oh, it's possible to get done for it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's technically possible to plagiarise your own work. I mean, I suppose from a legal perspective, I'm assuming it is, but that mostly comes down to copyright and things like that. Right.
I guess if you were paid for that work by somebody else, so technically they owned it, you could be plagiarising.
There's definitely, that's happened in the software industry quite a few times.
Kind of.
Right.
Lost the street. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't honestly know I haven't answered to this question, so I don't really know one way or the other. So
this was more about whether you feel it does, rather than specifics. I've read.
Due to neoprene.
Say that again.
Just a neoprene.
No, missed the first word again.
Do you
think
Pritt stick will stick to neoprene?
Not for very long. You need neoprene glue. I've got some of that.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're asking about freaking glue. You have totally lost their Badger.
Well, I knew when he was talking about neoprene that he wasn't answering the question, unless he was talking about the people that plagiarised it.
E6000 might work on it.
My answer to the question is as follows. Plagiarism only matters if you care more about the author than the content.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years. Thanks, Badger.
I don't really give a shit who wrote something as well as it's accurate.
No, well, yes, I completely concur with that. Apart from the education system is meant to be ensuring that you understand. Ensuring is definitely the wrong word there. You're meant to be demonstrating that you understand something. And that's the problem as to how we... I think there are massive problems in the education system, like I think there are massive problems in everywhere in society. But I've got a box and I'll stand on it.
Actually, at least the American education system has very little to do with showing you understand anything. They just want you to be able to regurgitate it on the test.
Well, no, this is my point. My point is that we have not established a good way. Well, no, actually we have. I'm completely lying here. We have established the perfect way.
A question mark on his head.
No. We've established the perfect way to test someone to determine whether or not they understand a subject. We established it several hundred years ago. Okay, that is someone that is more of an expert in a field questions that person for half a day. Unfortunately, it's a tad time consuming. So we offset these things to tests, and then we're reliant on the test. We do not have a good way to ascertain whether or not people have understood something on a mass scale.
Yep.
When it comes to writing something that about something you do understand, and I don't see any problem with copying. I think that someone has said something a million times better than I ever will. Anyway, I think we shall skip on. But I don't think.
Yeah.
Right. Question 259 is in two parts. What is your favourite food? And would you rather give up your favourite food or sex?
Yeah. Oh, I'm giving up sex before I give up flipping chicken curry. I'll tell you that now.
I don't know what my favourite food is. I've got lots of things I like. I'm a chocoholic though, so I'd probably have to give up chocolate.
Alright, would you give up chocolate?
Would I give up chocolate? Oh, you get the same endorphin rush from both. But you can eat you can do chocolate anywhere, whereas you might get arrested if you try and do sex anywhere.
I'm going to say technically, if you're not getting sex anyway, are you technically giving it up?
Are you suggesting I'm not getting sex?
That's kind of where I am with the question.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't know
it's
what
like
my chances are of actually having sex with somebody else anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how you
If
could
you
give up
clarification.
something you don't get.
It's an abstract hypothetical.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine that there is any food that I would not give up for a chance to have more sex.
Food I can enjoy alone. Sex generally requires someone else. I am an antisocial loner.
Right, okay,
with-
wait. I'm including masturbation.
So I would give up sex.
I'm
so that I can still have a fire.
You're
Yeah.
including masturbation.
I'm
mate.
including masturbation.
Yeah, that was what was going to be my clarification. I wanted to know if sex included any form of sexual contact in any way, shape, or form. In which case, the answer is I'd give up food. I'd give up my favourite food. Yeah.
I
for
think
sure.
no. I think I'm still going with. My Indian takeaway. I'm sorry.
I'd give up chocolate.
If it includes any kind of sexual gratification, including masturbation, I would give up spinach, definitely.
It's
It's
kind
pretty-
of stacked anyway because, you know, you're talking about one food as opposed to all sex.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
Exactly.
there isn't one food that you would give up, you know, and you can still have whatever your second and third favorite.
2 seconds, I've got to
I'm
clarify
gonna
something.
put the
Is your
question to
favourite
this
food spinach, Badger?
For the purposes of this mental exercise, yes.
You're a liar.
Because then I can give that up and just carry on with my other activities.
No.
You could also be very specific about the curry thing. You could just claim one particular type of curry, like a jalfrezi is your
Yeah,
favourite.
exactly,
You could still
yeah.
eat all the rest.
By the way,
Yeah.
if we reference the first question, my statement about spinach being my favourite food colours me as lying.
We can see there's a purple glow around you. It's a lying aura.
Oh, I wonder if I can do that. Hang on.
No, lying aura cannot be purple. No.
Why? What colour would a lying aura be?
Some
What-
disgusting, muddy, brown, horrible, putrid colour.
Fair
What
enough.
about that? How's that? Oh shit, I haven't actually done it. What about that?
Like the colour of rotten, dying flesh.
There we go, I'm lying now.
You're lying now. The entire world changes to crimson when you're lying.
The Crimson Badger.
How do I turn this off?
You can't. You're stuck. Oddly enough, your mantelpiece now looks like it should have a banner.
There we go.
Yeah, that was kind of like looking at you through infrared glasses or something.
Right, Morton says Badger is Popeye. Got it. What if your favourite sex is with food? What if sex is your favourite food? Suddenly everyone is starving. Sammy says probably chocolate or lollies and would give it up if I got more sex.
Yeah, so if we define it as any kind of thing related to sex, then yes, maybe, possibly. If we define it as just with another person, then no.
Fair enough. Would anyone like to change their answer if we're just including with another person?
Well, my answer was the same either way.
And it was, so it doesn't matter.
My answer might change depending on how you define the sex part. Yeah, my answer would probably change.
I think we will go. We'll
Define
go.
it as straight. If you define it as straight, plain, vanilla sex, then yeah, I'd give up sex for sure. But if you take it as any possible, then no.
Oh, I just want to delve so much more into that, but not now.
not appropriate.
But Bill's asking if he's allowed to be tied up and hit with the cat and nine tails.
Actually, I prefer to silence.
By the way, not only can I not find my fabric glue, I now cannot find the fabric I was gluing. I've just put it down and it ceased to exist.
Can you find Sammy's lighter?
Probably. Oh yeah, here it is.
Right. Question 260. Do you secretly hate Venice and wish that they would just let it sink into the sea?
Not really, no.
I couldn't give a shit about Venice. I don't hate it. I just couldn't give a shit.
Been there once. It was nice to have a look around, but pretty much ambivalent towards the place, to be honest.
Think it's worth saving when sea level rises?
I have never been there and doubt I would ever get there, so I'm completely ambivalent to its existing in the first place.
I quite like it. I quite like that it's there, but I'm probably not going to go there, so I wouldn't actually notice if it just sank and told me.
I feel if it just sunk, I feel a bit sorry for all the pigeons in St Mark's Square. I mean, where would they go? But you know,
Yeah.
If
Bill?
nobody told me it sank, then I wouldn't miss it.
Sorry, what was that? What was the question?
Do you secretly hate Venice and wish that they would just let it sink into the sea?
I lived there for a while.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, for about 6 months.
Do you wish
Not
it...
actually quite in Venice. I lived in a place called Marina di Venezia, which is like a 10-minute boat ride from St Mark's Square.
Mm-hmm.
Can we develop a plan to save Venice by sinking the Vatican?
that works for me.
To be honest, in general, it is a bit of a hobble, but there are some very, very nice places there that I would like to keep. In particular, there's a little jazz cafe right by the Rialto Bridge, and you could sit outside and listen to some nice jazz music, drinking espresso in the shadow of the Rialto Bridge. Nothing better.
That sounds lovely.
And how much do the espressos cost there?
Yeah, to be fair, you're right. They're not cheap. They aren't cheap.
Yeah.
That's true.
So if we sank everything but that bit, you'd be okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, there are other little bits. There are pockets of it here and there that you might want to save. Pockets of it, do you know what I mean?
Right, quick answers from here.
If we're going to let it sink, can we just blow it up? Because that'd be more interesting.
Sure. I'm all for blowing things up. Right.
Something down and it just vanishes into the fucking...
It's glue, you've sat on it, it's stuck to your arse.
It's not the glue, it's the fabric.
Was it Venice and did it sink?
Right, wait there.
No, I think his prick stick is what he was hoping to hold Venice together with.
I like the idea of blowing the Vatican up, grinding it.
You said prick stick.
It is prick stick. Grinding the rubble up and then using that to hire the ground of Venice.
Can we grind the cardinals up as well?
Sure.
The worst bit about it is the smell.
The Vatican doesn't smell that bad.
It does.
Well, no, the Vatican doesn't. The Venice does, though. Venice, especially in the summer.
I
Venice
bet.
Smells terrible.
I would imagine so. All right, quick answers.
Well, yeah, if you don't differentiate between your streets and your sewers, you're going to have that problem.
It's not just that; it's also the fact that
algae.
The algae, and also the refuse, rubbish removal. Like that is not an easy thing to do. So you end up with rubbish piled up in the streets. Especially as the fact that in Italy, most of the refuse companies are controlled by the mafia, and if they decide that for some reason that they're not getting paid enough and decide they're not collecting the rubbish just piles up in the streets and starts to stink. It's nasty.
New York has the same issue.
You don't need to differentiate between your sewers and your streets. You just call them strewers.
And then when you use them for drinking too? Right, Morton says no, Linda says no, Joan says no, Nerdy says what's wrong with Venice? I've got no problem with Venice, Richard Herring does.
What's Richard Herring got to do with this conversation?
Half the questions come from his book.
Oh, okay.
This one being one of them. What?
Well, I always preferred Stuart Lee anyway, so...
I was too sure to tell him.
Can we sink Richard Herring?
What?
Can we sink Richard Herring and say Venice?
Richard Herring's alright.
He's alright, he's just not as good as Stuart Lee.
But Stuart Lee goes on!
Anyway, it's him.
It's not that I don't find Stuart Lee funny, but he goes on an awful lot.
He does that intentionally, though. You know that.
Yes. Jen, sorry.
What?
You said something and I talked over you.
Oh, no, I said if he's a herring, you're not going to be able to sink him anyway. He'll just swim away.
Oh.
So is his assistant a hearing aid?
I can't find my piece of fabric. All I can find is this bloody spoon.
This bloody spoon.
You glue that with the...
Can you bend
What
it?
the hell are you making, Badger?
You can make a fucking leg brace out of a spoon at this rate.
Are you Uri Geller?
Isn't it Yuri?
Uri, I think it's pronounced as.
I thought it was urine.
I thought it was fuckwit. Right.
Oh, okay, I found it.
Good. Shush.
Oh, and I found the fabric to it.
Right.
I put one on top of the other.
Right. Question 261.
Next question.
I'm trying. Question 261.
Terry.
I'm going to throw this at you.
What
Question
question are we on?
261. Would you rather give up your computer/phone or your pet?
Fuck.
What
if it's a Commodore pet?
No, it's got to be relatively furry or scaly.
if my pet is on my...
Tamagotchis don't count either then.
No.
Can I choose which pet?
The pet you like the most.
I would be thrilled to give up my phone. It doesn't really do me much good. It just makes me convenient for other people to bother.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't give up my phone. I need it.
So you could give up your pet. Your most
No, I feel my
favourite.
phone is something I am forced to have.
Well, I don't.
As long as I can choose the pet that I
No,
give up.
it's got
yeah.
to be your most favourite. Of all the ones you have had.
Nope.
No. You keep the pet.
Well, that's just cruel.
Joan says.
Am I allowed to get?
Joan says, sorry, Marky, you've got to go. Can't live without my devices.
I don't really have any pets apart from the wood mice that live near my burrow.
See, your problem is no problem. It's not your problem. My problem is with this question is I need my phone and my computer for my work when I'm actually able to work. So I can't give them up.
So you would sacrifice your
Get
pets.
your out pets, though.
There is a meat grinder outside that you have to put your pet or your phones into.
Oh, fuck off with that. You're just making it impossible now.
I'll tell you what, instead of that, I will sink the Vatican.
Yeah. I'm with Badger. We're avoiding this question and going and sinking the Vatican.
Yeah, sinking the Vatican seems like a viable alternative to this question.
Right. Nerdy says he'd give up the computer and phone. Linda says she'd give up the computer and phone. Doc says disqualified because he's got no pets.
Oh, neither do I, so, you know.
Excellent. I'm disqualified, we're fine.
We're fine. We're all right. We're okay then, Badge.
And I don't think Joan likes the terms that I changed slightly. You've got to get rid of it. Bill?
I honestly don't understand why this is even a difficult question for people. I just give up my technology without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Easy. Gone. Fine.
Man who actually likes his pets.
When it's the area
Yeah,
you work in and you need that technology to work.
So,
Let's just
get rid of it. I'd rather have my pet than a
Technology
job.
is the only kind of social interaction I believe.
Say again,
Fuck
Badger?
that.
Technology is the only kind of social interaction I willingly engage in. So
Have you
no, I
considered a
wouldn't
pet?
Well, see, I also
I'd
have
rather,
a
I'd
different
rather
but,
socially
I have to
interact
feed
with
it.
my pet than
Yeah.
socially interact with other people.
Exactly.
Damn right.
I have to feed a pet. The other people feed themselves.
you don't have to. You don't have to clean up the shit that your phone leaves behind, though.
You don't have to feed it though, electricity.
Dude.
I've got to say, by the way, for all of this and all my criticism, I'm
all
sorry,
the-
but I would keep my computer.
I mean, I should probably have a caveat to this, that at the moment I don't actually have my own pet. Obviously, I'm looking after my nan's budgie, but it isn't mine.
Yeah.
But when I do get my dog, then yeah, I absolutely 100%, without even having to think twice, would give up my phone, my TV, my computer, my console, the lot. Gone. No problem.
Gary says he has no pets and then hides his pets.
Can I ask?
If I had a pet, that I had that close a bond with, then yes, it would be that way round. But I don't, so no.
Have you had a pet?
Could I?
Jeff?
I've had a pet in the past, but I'm just thinking, am I allowed to, like, you know, perhaps put my neighbour's kids in the meat grinder instead of, you know?
Are they your
sacrifice,
favourite?
honestly?
Are they your favourite kids?
Well, considering I don't really like kids in general, the case could be made.
If they're your favourite kids, we might be able to accept that as...
Neighbours in general, can I just put all of them in there?
They have to be your favourite.
The only neighbours I got.
Linda says, "What pets? I have none."
I have a different perspective on the question because I have been somebody's favorite pet. So,
Robert says,
In the meat grinder with you.
Yeah. Robert says, "My PC is my pet, so now what?" You do have
My
to...
pet.
Go on.
I technically have a pet on my PC because of reasons. So,
Doc Fearsome, you do have to feed your pet, and it does have excrement. It's called Twitter.
Yes. Your phone.
It's fine, yeah.
Right. Next question. Now that you're all pet-killing monsters.
Nope, never.
Question 262. Is there something you once adored that you now hate?
Oh, we had the
Didn't
opposite
you
this
have
the
to
other day.
yesterday?
No, it was we did the one we did the other day was the other way around.
apparently my pet.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, apparently the family dog. Yeah. You know. If we're going off the last question.
There are people that fall into that category.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think you can include people because we can't be specific.
I actually used to like watching Australian rules football years ago, but I can't stand watching any form of football now.
That counts. Santi says Democrats. Jones says marriage. Robert says being 18. I liked being 18. 18 was good.
I didn't like being 18.
No.
18 was a stupid age.
I mean, I prefer probably my early 20s.
Right, I need to be right back. There is cheese on toast for me.
Okay. Bill? He's gone too.
No, I'm here. I'm just trying to think, actually. Something that I loved that I now hate. You?
The whole pet thing.
You for forcing us to kill our pets.
Fair enough.
I honestly don't know. To be fair,
Is there no music?
No, not really. Like, no, because the only music I really hate, I've always hated. Like, that's the thing. Like, there are only like 2 genres of music that I hate, and I have always hated them, and will always hate them. So
We'll have to find you a
so
song.
There's not anything I can think of. No. Literally, these 2 genres of music, you will never find anything that I like.
Go on, what are they?
Well then.
Country and contemporary jazz. That's it. They're the only two music styles that I just cannot stand.
So you don't like Cotton Eye Joe?
That's not country.
No, I know.
That's dance music.
That's dance music.
It's cheesy, cheerful chart dance music,
Yeah.
but it is still quite good. Cheesy, cheerful chart dance music.
Yeah. Robert says drinking vinegar. I don't know where he got that from. I'm assuming. I'm assuming he used to drink vinegar and liked it. Gary says the church.
And assuming you watched my video.
You have a video?
I do.
She doesn't drink vinegar. She drinks vinegar cordial. What did you flash?
See,
Okay.
other than maybe a few people which were excluded, there's not really anything. It's like something when it comes to music. I mean, this stuff I don't particularly like, but don't hate. That I used to like, you know. But
No. Santi says badgers. Math Pig says fishing.
I hate my smartphone, but I resented having to get it in the first place, so...
Which way round is this question? Is this that you used to hate and now like, or used to like and now hate?
Used to like and now hate.
Oh.
And you're not allowed people.
Used to like him?
Well, people. He's never liked people. Linda says being tall.
Does anyone like people?
What?
I quite like badgers.
You quite like badgers. They're fluffy.
I used to really like Star Wars, and then fucking Disney happened.
So would you say you now hate Star Wars?
I hate Disney Star Wars.
No, that's not the point. The point is that you have to hate what you once liked.
Yeah, but you don't hate the original movies, you only hate the ones that have come out recently.
And I used to quite like walking. I quite hate that now. But I don't. I still quite like it.
Star Wars this way. Or Star Wars in general, rather. I used to just unequivocally love Star Wars. Now the Disney shit has so tainted it for me that when I look at even the original things, I feel sad.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Math Pig.
Depressing. That was an echo.
actually, just come to think of it, there is a song. There's a particular song.
Go on.
And it bugs the hell out of me every time. Well, I hate it now every time I hear it every Christmas. That's Fairy Tale in New York.
Why? I love Fairy Tale in New York.
I used to like it, but it's probably because of the fact that every goddamn year it gets played and played and played to death, to the point where I do not want to fucking hear that song again.
What was the song?
Fairy Tale in New York.
Okay, I have run into that there have been songs that I initially liked, but then they played it to death on the radio to the point that I could never get in the car without hearing it, so I came to hate it.
Hmm. I mean, most songs I drift off of nowadays, it's because I find the beat too slow. There are songs that I liked 20 years ago, but I wouldn't say I hate them now. I find them very, very, very slow. Gary says...
Go
on.
So you've had musicians, though, that have grown to hate their own songs.
Yes, very much so.
If you ever read Lemmy's book, he grew to hate Ace of Spades after a while.
Gary Priestley says James Woods. People liked James Woods at some point. Santi said Metallica. Morton says TV and radio.
I can understand the Metallica one, to be honest, but
Metallica I've never liked. Not because I don't know their music. I don't know their music.
I like that, but I still objectively like a lot of their earlier stuff.
So my point is I don't know them at all because I refuse to have anything to do with them after they fucked Napster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, see, for me, the problem with these kind of questions is that, hate is like an active state.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things I just don't give a shit about anymore, but I don't waste the energy to actually hate them.
Well, don't like is the general gist.
Yeah. I have to care about something enough to hate it,
Yeah. See, that's the thing I was saying is, it's like
what is
I go
important?
from liking something to being ambivalent that I don't care if it just went away.
It's a bit awkward like in Rolf Harris these days.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Well, there is that, but we were sort of saying people we were.
How Having said that, you can like his works but hate the person.
Rolf Harris is a really good advocate for the whole death of the artist concept.
Let's move the conversation to something lighter. Rolf Harris.
Yeah.
Right, we'll go to the next question.
At one time, that was the most light-hearted thing you could talk about.
It was.
No.
His conviction really bothers me, but I'm not discussing it now.
Right, so I'm
Yeah, it was fine talking about it till people discovered that he had been tying kangaroos down.
Well, it was more when two little boys took on a whole new meaning. Was the
No.
All right, forget I brought this up. I'm just saying Star Wars because it's been so tainted by Disney taking over that I now find it very difficult to enjoy the things I once enjoyed about it.
Mm. It's a shame all that canon went away as well.
Say that again?
Shame that all the canon went away. That there's no expanded universe anymore.
Well, there is as far as I'm concerned. That's the only Star Wars I give a shit about anymore.
It's officially been stated that it's not.
I've officially stated that Disney is not.
Right, next question. Question 263. Do you, or we'll go with have you, enjoy sleeping within... Right, I can't write a sentence. Question 263. Do you enjoy sleeping in physical contact with your partner/lover?
well,
When I had one, yeah.
Yeah, when I had one.
When I had one, again, you know, didn't really not either way.
I'm going to say no.
You can see why I'm single.
I'm going to say no because the times I've experienced it, it was kind of fun, but I wouldn't want to do it regularly.
Mm.
It also depends on how fucking hot it is.
You see, that's a problem I've had in the past. I can quite like it, but I've had partners that are unbelievable radiators, and spending more than 15 minutes in contact with them, and you just so hot.
I see. That's a problem I've got. Well, people don't want to cuddle up to me in bed because I'm just that hot.
So you like it? It's them that's the problem. Bill?
Am I having a touch? No, it's the kids that are wrong.
Rephrase that. Rephrase that.
Yeah, I'm also going to say no.
No.
Yeah, for the heat reasons, and also I am not the most fun person to try and sleep in the same bed as, evidently.
Mathpig says he's the big spoon. What's what?
Why are you not the most fun person to be in the same bed as?
To sleep with, not to.
Yeah, like to actually sleep. Well, because I have like nightmares and shit. I also sleep in a really tight curled up ball. Like I sleep very strangely, and I tend to be like things get a bit strange. I'm like, I end up like waking myself up, and I've been like flailing about, and yeah, it's not really.
Yep. I'm with you.
Caroline reminded me of something the other day, and I'm not sure. Well, I'll repeat it anyway. I'll get into trouble later, maybe.
I just don't like sharing physical space with people very often.
I have falling dreams. And when you wake up... Falling dreams. Or nightmares. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, so when I wake up, I have this habit of flaying my arms out and hitting the bed. to brace myself from hitting the ground. Okay, but obviously being... at one point, we were in a triad, in a poly relationship, where I used to sleep in the middle. So I have managed to systematically wake up, twat either side of me, hitting both of them in the face.
Oh, well done.
I think Doc has the best answer in the chat there, doesn't he?
Yes, I can sleep at all. I can't sleep at all without my blow-up doll. Santi says... The blow-up doll doesn't have the heat problem. Santi says he needs the space.
The heat thing is one of the things... The heat thing is one of the
Inflatable
things some of
mattresses
my
are cold.
partners have really liked.
Yes.
Because apparently I act as a heat sink.
And there's definitely something now. I've snuggled up with people that are incredibly cold that will take all the heat away, and with people that are very, very hot and just radiate it. I think you need to get a match there.
I think people who are at bed with me would probably find themselves a little bit upset by how physically uncomfortable I am with being touched.
I'm a bit like that. I'm a bit like that myself.
Not much room.
Badger, I'm not touching you.
Math Pig says, I don't move when I sleep. I move a lot when I sleep.
My problem with the whole touching thing is I veer wildly from wanting it all the time to just needing to be miles away from anyone and not having them touch me in any way, shape and form. And that's not an easy thing for people to deal with.
Right, next question. What's that one?
Yeah, I don't like to be touched unexpectedly, and I don't like there to be things going on around me that I don't know about.
Unexpectedly.
Yeah, sometimes I wish things could go on around me without me knowing about them. That's part of why I never sleep, just any noise. Even when I am asleep, I'm aware of any noise and anything more than 50 pounds that's moving in the room. So I can filter out the cats. When we got a medium-sized dog, I couldn't filter that out.
Makes sense. Right. Next question, and quite apt given that Badger's here. Question 264. Would you rather talk like Yoda or breathe like Darth Vader?
Strange question you ask.
I can do both.
Go on.
So why must you become Jedi?
Oh, that beats my impression.
And
Okay.
Now do the voice.
I can't do the voice so well. It's slightly too deep for me.
Why would anyone want to constantly sound like they have asthma?
It's cool.
See, at least if you had Yoda's voice or whatever, sooner or later, Frank Oz isn't going to be around forever, and you're going to be voicing in Yoda a lot for Disney projects coming up soon. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would never work with Disney on a Star Wars project.
Not even if you had creative control?
No, because me working with them on it, unless my work on it was to completely erase everything that they've done from continuity, my working on it would legitimize their shit.
Yes, it would. Morton says, I want to talk like Yoda while breathing like Vader. Trainbeck says, Vader sounds like a perv. Trainbeck says Yoda. Jones says Yoda. Doc says he'll choose Darth Vader. So I'm assuming you're going to choose Yoda.
I think if I got the voice as well, I could accept breathing like Vader.
Yeah, the voice. That would, yeah.
Okay, Badger, what if you could play Yoda so that you're with Luke when he wakes up in the swamp and it turns out that he ate something he shouldn't have and the last 4 movies were all a bad drug trip?
As long as they... Right. Yes, very much.
That sounds like a Dallas type thing to me.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Very much so, but they would also need to erase a lot of other stuff from continuity, including books and comics. And they would also, following that, need to find some way to alter the Mandalorian so that it can be included in the real expanded universe.
Yes.
Oh, so you do like some Disney?
The Mandalorian is about the only thing they've done that's been any good. Just be honest.
Enjoy watching the
Yeah, it
Mandalorian.
is good actually.
I enjoy watching the Mandalorian, but I don't consider it part of Star Wars.
Oh, so this is controversial. So you like some of what Disney has done? Just say those words, please.
No.
So would you want Yoda or Vader?
Who are you asking?
You.
Oh shit! If I do the breathing, if I can have the voice as well.
Fair enough. You can have the voice as well.
All right. I could do a Yoda voice. It just hurts my throat.
Bill. And sorry about the interruption. Doorbell.
Preference to talk like Yoda would be.
Very good.
That's pretty good.
Am I the only person that can't do a Yoda impression?
Jen, do a Yoda impression.
I'm not even going to try.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Very good.
Right,
I
Jen,
can't.
do the
I
Vader.
can't picture Yoda with an Aussie accent. Actually,
I
That's
probably
brilliant.
think
I
my
need to
brain-
hear that now.
problem. So I
need to
don't
hear somebody
like
with an
trying
Australian
to do voices
accent.
like that because I already have problems with my throat because I've
Yeah, we know why you have problems with your throat.
sorry.
We know why you have problems with your throat.
Shut up, Dave.
Wait a minute, I'm just gonna see if I can give Yoda an Aussie accent.
So, Purple, would you be Yoda or Vader while he's doing that?
Don't wait for me though. I got to practice.
Purple? We lost Purple.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. Would you take Yoda's voice, or talk like Yoda, or breathe like Vader?
No, I'd take Yoda's voice. I don't see the point in Vader.
I'll take Yoda's voice because I'll happily whore myself out to Disney to do voiceovers. Even if Baz is not willing to.
Can I take Kermit's voice instead?
Yes.
So it turns out that the way that I imitate an Australian accent is fundamentally incompatible with doing a Yoda voice,
Okay.
because the mouth structure that I do for a Yoda voice requires me to have a very tense jaw, and the mouth structure I use to try and imitate an Australian accent
Or do an Australian accent.
G'day, I've just come over from Australia.
That's not bad.
It's better than I could do.
Not bad.
Linda says Yoda. Robert says I prefer Darth Rodent. Is that the next iteration of Darth Dawkins?
Oh, probably.
He changed his
Yes,
name
the-
again. I've forgotten what it is now.
Can you do Kermit, Badger?
Was it Duncan Atheism or what's he changed it
Hang on.
again now?
No, it's something new. It's not Duncan Atheism. It's not Evolution False. No, I've forgotten. Someone was telling me the other day.
Let me see, can I do Kermit? It is safer for both of us if you do not see my face.
Yes, that's
Australian
me.
Yoda? That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
That's the Family Guy interpretation of Kermit.
Hey, well, Kermit Frog here.
Somebody
that might
talk
be-
to me. Whoa!
Can you sing Rainbow Connections as Kermit?
What, me or Badger?
You.
I can't sing Rainbow Connections in the first place. You've seen that.
Well, that was my point. Right, next question. Second to last question. Question 265. Does technology make us more alone?
No.
I'm probably asking the wrong group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asking about the fucking shut-ins. Whether he... I would choose not to talk to anyone if I could avoid it, but technology allows me to talk to people in a method that I'm comfortable with, so very much no.
Jeff?
No, I don't. I don't think it does. I don't think it does at all.
Bill?
If you're talking about us as individuals here right now, yes. If you're talking, sorry, no, it doesn't. But if you're talking about society as a whole, yes, it does.
I think you might be right. Purple?
No, I think it just offers a different way of communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely think there is an argument to be made. There are things that we don't do that we are lacking. It's one of those things, actually, at the moment that I am iffy about. Okay, we have lost our low-level alcohol consumption. When they call alcohol a social lubricant. Yeah, the ability to be around people and just get a little bit sloshed. And
I don't know. I do that quite regularly.
No, you get pissed.
Very sloshed.
That's the point. It's not the getting pissed that we've lost. It's
I don't always get pissed. I sometimes only have a couple.
Yeah, my point is as a society, we don't tend to do that now.
I do it at home, talking to people on the internet.
I mean, we used to...
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Again, missing my point.
That was my point.
Right, quick questions from the chat. Joan says, I think yes, potentially. Robert says, yes, my sex robot always leaves me alone. Linda says, technology is an introvert's best friend. Can't disagree with that. Doc says, nope, I've made friends from all over the world. I completely agree. Technology makes me socialise. I think the problem I've got is I don't think we have yet learnt to incorporate it correctly.
That's right. As a society, we haven't quite found the correct balance yet, I don't think.
Yes.
I think if you asked this question 20 years ago, the answer would be yes.
No, I see. 20 years ago, when you asked me this question 20 years ago, the answer would have been very much no.
Yeah, me too.
I tend to roleplay.
People would have seen it as happening that way. People, people would be worried about that was what technology was going to do. It was going to ruin us from ever socializing with people. Everyone would be sitting in front of the television, or they'd be sitting in front of their computers or their game system playing games.
Do you know how many times I have got pissed off with my
sociably now?
How many times I have got pissed off with my parents? Right, because they spent, when I was in my, my late teens, early 20s, you're going to date a girl you met online. How can you possibly date someone you've met online? You'll never know them. And I'm like...
my last 4 serious relationships started online.
Oh, most of my relationships have. Right, but my point is that now, most relationships do. Most relationships are now started online, in some way, in some form.
Yep.
I've never had a relationship that started online.
The people I know in person.
Well, and I think they've been much better that way, because in every case... I've been able to spend a couple of months talking to them online and really getting to know a lot more about them before we actually met.
I mean, I know more about you 5 than some of the random people I've slept with.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I know some of your names for starters.
I think you know way too much about me, actually, don't you?
I agree. I think you know way too much about me as well.
I don't know anything about you.
Exactly.
Santi says, technology made me socialise. Not a great gamer says, fresh cheese.
Yeah, see, I know people online better than most of the people I know in person. I don't remember most of the humans who live physically near my borough. I don't know most of their names. Whereas I know the chosen names of the people that I know online very well, and a lot of them I know the stories behind why they chose those names and so on.
Mm-hmm. I've got a question for you after.
Who?
You. Well, lots of people actually.
Okay.
Right, last question. Oh. Linda says, Morton and I met online, and Robert says, I know nothing about the people I've slept with.
There are some people I would have never slept with if I knew more about them.
No.
Well, that's true.
Joan says, Twitter broke me and I'm cautious with YouTube. At least YouTube, you can see when they're lying to you. Unless they're a small, very...
An avatar like Badger or you or Bill or Purple.
I'm not an avatar. They can see me. It's only you that can't.
Oh, that's true. They can see you. Okay, I'll take you out that list.
Oh, I'm on camera. Look, I'm leaving.
Right.
We can tell if he's lying. It's only just a few seconds after he's told us to lie if we watch it. Yeah.
Santi says, if you don't know where my name is from, we probably won't get along.
Spinach is my hang on. Spinach is my favourite food.
Now, if you do that every time you lie, it'd be a whole lot better, although I haven't really heard you lie very much. Right, question 266.
You haven't been asking me the right questions, Dave.
No. Shush. Question 200.
Ask me a question.
I'm going to throw something at you. Question 266.
You got to have a fucking good arm to hit me.
I've been practicing with one of them for years. Question 266. Would you rather be Batman or Sherlock Holmes when solving a case?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, who was the first choice?
Batman.
Oh god, Batman easily.
Who was the second choice?
Sherlock Holmes.
Batman easily. This one.
Can I skip Batman and just be Bruce Wayne and have all the money?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You think Bruce Wayne can solve cases like Batman?
Yes, because he's Batman.
You can't tell people that.
No one knows that. It's a secret. It's going to be great.
I think Batman's only superpower is near infinite wealth.
Yes.
Without Wayne Industries to develop all the gadgets, he'd be nothing.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
not entirely, because he's portrayed as being sort of an exceptional athlete in most areas.
Yes, but when it comes to being a superhero, yeah, you can do it. I mean, I could go with the Sheldon approach. I could be Batman. I couldn't be any of the other superheroes. I'm Batman.
I could be.
You could technically sort of be Iron Man.
I could be Green Lantern, except I couldn't because I wouldn't accept the perceived authority of the Guardians.
You so would. You'd wet yourself. You would wet yourself too if all of a sudden you decided the Lantern things existed and they want you to join.
Batman doesn't have Sherlock Holmes's cocaine habit either.
No. But he does have deep psychological problems.
He's got other personality flaws, though.
I think I would join. I think I would join. I would work with them for quite a while, and that resentment of their claimed authority would slowly seep in.
Entirely possible. My point being, you would still accept it.
Sorry, what was the question?
Would you prefer to Batman or Sherlock to solve a case?
Oh, Sherlock, because he exists in a Victorian England, which is as close to steampunk as you can get.
Well, see, there is one other caveat to that. Now, you know, do you want Dr. Watson or Robin as a sidekick? Is the other thing that could play into this?
Yeah, neither of them are there.
Okay.
I prefer Watson, and also thinking about it, there was that Gotham by Gaslight thing, which is Batman but in a steampunk kind of setting. So now I'm torn on it.
Now, I've got the clincher here. I've got the clincher. You're Batman. You get to fuck Catwoman. It's that. There you go. That's the clincher, I think.
Yeah, but Sherlock Holmes had.
Can't just be Catwoman because she's cool.
Let's see what people said so far. We have got Robert says Sherlock Holmes as Batman sucks. Joan asks which Sherlock Holmes. We're talking. I've forgotten what the actor's called. Who's the good Sherlock Holmes actor?
I thought Robert Downey Jr. was alright, but that's not the one you're thinking of.
No, I'm talking about the one that is.
Are you thinking about the one that was in Hackers?
I know the guy you mean. He doesn't have much hair, does he?
Tom Baker's played Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Tom Baker has played Sherlock.
You're thinking of that Benedict Cumberbatch? And all.
No! There's just one.
What are you thinking of?
You're thinking about the guy who was in Hackers, Dave?
I don't know who I'm thinking of. And that the Stu did the series.
Be Tom Baker. Tom Baker.
Loads of different Sherlock Holmeses, though.
Yeah, but there's one that is
between Tom Baker and Jackie Chan. Tom Baker would win.
What? Why?
Okay.
Well, assuming that they're playing characters that they've been.
Johnny Lee Miller. Johnny Lee Miller.
No! No, not.
But he was good Sherlock Holmes.
Not. What was he? The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. It was Jeremy Brett.
Apparently,
Right,
Peter
okay.
Yeah,
Cushing
no idea.
played Sherlock Holmes on a BBC series.
What?
Apparently, Peter Cushing played Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
once
lots
on
of
a
people
BBC
did. But Jeremy Brett is the definitive. And I wish I could show pictures because I would show.
Right, hang on, I'm trying to find him.
Search Jeremy
Come
Brett
the
Sherlock Holmes. Right, where are we? I never got through these. Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see. Robert says Sherlock Holmes as Batman's helper sucks. Santi, Sherlock cocaine makes me smart too. Linda says Sherlock. Morton says Watson. Doc says Batman, because a batarang is way more awesome than a magnifying glass. I don't ever recall seeing Sherlock Holmes with a magnifying glass.
No.
Bill says, oh, no, wait there. He's back at the other conversation.
I'm here. Ignore that.
This is the oh.
Go on. Show the Sherlock Holmes I was
Nah.
talking about.
I'm not ready. There we go. This is the Sherlock Holmes you're thinking of.
Yes! Jeremy Brett. That's not a good picture of him. And you need to turn off now because it started clicking.
What do you mean?
Just need to throw this in the mix, but there's no indication Batman has any musical talent.
That's true.
Yeah, there is. He sang in that episode of the animated series, and everyone was crying.
And everyone was crying.
Yeah.
Was it that good or that bad?
Both.
Both. Anyone else? No, I'm not talking about Cumberbatch, Shanty.
Come on the bat.
Come on, the bat.
You can screw up, but
Basically, most people think the Batman.
Oh, that's definitely Batman.
Catwoman.
No, you can't have
I
Catwoman.
think I'd probably go Sherlock Holmes, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so. If you're talking if you're talking about just the actual person, then yeah, I reckon Sherlock Holmes. I like his power of deduction and stuff. I think that'd be quite good.
Well, no, I can't disagree with that. But Batman, I think Batman is cooler. Is my problem. I like toys.
Yeah,
I
Batman
reckon
probably is
Black
cooler.
Widow would be the better choice.
Say again?
Black Widow. I mean, she did espionage. She was good at solving problems like that because she was a spy and all that, and she was a lot better at fighting than Batman or Sherlock.
Sherlock. Sherlock wasn't that good at fighting. Just the occasional punch.
Yes, I do.
I'm going with Sherlock Holmes.
You go with Sherlock Holmes. So 2 Sherlocks, 3.
Although, no, I'm
I
sticking.
guess it's easy to be either of them.
I quite like to be either of them, to be quite honest.
I'm sticking with Sherlock. There we go. Decided. Sherlock's best.
Sherlock's the fan.
It's another one of those questions that's got loads of nuance to it.
It is.
Isn't it? You know what I mean? It depends on. If you're talking about having the life of that person, then of course you would go for Batman because of all that money and everything that, you know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah,
you're
screw
talking
that.
about the actual person himself, you'd probably go for Sherlock.
Yes. I mean, just out of interest, how much better would Gotham be if Bruce just funded the police force properly?
Yeah,
Oh, much better.
absolutely.
Probably with
Bruce
help
is the
from
cause
Arya.
of a lot of the nut jobs he grows up in.
Right. I also objected. At the end of the day, I do somewhat object to his no guns thing. I think he is
Well, he still
responsible.
kills people.
He
So what's
does.
the fucking point of the no guns thing?
It's just, and it's not even that. It's the fact that he doesn't. I don't know. I'm going to not say that. It'll come across as controversial.
It's just an objection based on. It's just an objection based on his life experience, isn't it? That's
Yes.
all it is.
Oh, very much so. But the point is, he's meant to be all this
You go back-
upstanding bullshit.
If you go back to some of the real early stories, though, he did use guns.
Yes. That before he had a backstory.
Yeah, pretty much.
Personally, I'd just rather have Frank Castle. I'd rather be Frank Castle.
Okay, and he's got a problem with guns, but he's got a car that has like rockets and a grenade launcher.
Was the question you just?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go full on, you might as well go full on murderous psychopath.
Well, if you're going to talk about other fictional characters who solve crime, what about Bones?
Wait a minute, I want to know who. Oh, Castle. Okay, now we worked it out. Okay.
Yeah, but my point is, okay, so Batman's got something against a weapon that could strategically take out a single individual, but nothing against area effect weapons that can just wipe out a whole crowd.
Rockets didn't kill his parents.
It was one-on-one crime. He's no objection to mass slaughter.
Yeah. See, you know, that is one thing about like the Punisher, though. It's you know, Batman. You'd figure after a while, these police guys keep escaping from Arkham Asylum, where I keep taking them back to. You know, like Punisher just what deal with them once. That's it.
That's it. Problem solved. Job done. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Robert X in the chat brings up the point here, which is if Bruce isn't Batman, he still has to work.
Yes.
Does he though?
No.
He could literally just sit in his house all day and become like a blob man.
Dress in a Badger outfit, just chat with random strangers.
He doesn't have to do anything.
Badger?
He could just have Alfred bring him soup all day.
Badger? Are you Bruce Wayne?
Shush.
Doc points out correctly that Gotham's police force is notoriously corrupt.
Were you asking just now, by the way, if it would be better if Bruce was just to fund the police force?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do something, so I missed that one. My input is no, because an overfunded police force becomes notoriously corrupt.
They buy ex-military stuff and drive around the streets using it.
Yeah, I am... As you may have guessed from our previous discussions, Dave, I do not.
So you like the idea of the lone vigilante imparting justice on a cruel world rather than a highly regulated police force.
I think a lone vigilante is less likely to be corrupt, because a lone vigilante, if a lone vigilante fucks up too consistently, the people can gather and remove the lone vigilante.
That's what's meant to happen with the police.
Yeah,
we have policing by consent.
There is a thing that there is a meant to be the very important thing you said there.
Meant.
I think meant to be. That's
How are you supposed to do that when the police have got tanks?
I like Tony's comment. Bats are mammals, so technically Batman is a furry.
Yep.
Technically.
But his suit is not furry.
I saw a great picture of somebody speculating about what Batman's eye makeup looks like under the mask, because he could put whatever he likes under there as long as it fits within the eye holes. So there was, when you take the mask off, he's got all kinds of intricate spirals and stuff all over the rest of his face.
You people are all crazy. Right.
You will ask us these questions.
I know. They're good, aren't they?
You say that like it's a bad thing.
It's not. It would be a lot less interesting if you were all completely and utterly sane.
No, see, I go with the tick. Sanity's a one-trick pony. But if you're truly crazy, the sky's the limit.
The sky's only the limit, because you have to be sane to get on the space program.
I'm not convinced sane was a requirement.
You have to at least be perceived as sane by the medical profession.
Fair enough. Right. On that note, I'm going to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to Badger. Thank you to Bill. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you to Purple. And thank you to everyone in the chat. It's been lots of fun. And I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.